Good afternoon, Rotarians.
What? Right here.
Good afternoon, Rotarians.
Good afternoon. Hi, Tim.
Good to see all of you. Welcome to the September 18th meeting of the Rotary Club of Des Moines. I am your president, Tim Lilowitz. Thank you to Scott Bennett for greeting at the last minute. Appreciate it, Scott, for stepping up. If anyone wants to volunteer to be a greeter, like Scott did today, please sign up at the table out in the lobby. We're always looking to have some excited greeters greet everyone to the weekly meeting. Also want to point out we have a new flag here at the Embassy Club. So instead of turning toward the screen, we can now turn toward an actual flag donated by one of our members. So appreciate that very much. And thank you to Carl Schilling, who will be providing our moment of inspiration, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance with the new flag and our four-way test. So, Carl.
I was at a high school reunion a while back, and an old friend of mine who is now a retired Lutheran minister came up to me and said, "Carl, there's a lesson I learned from your father that I wanted to share with you," which he did, and I thought it would be fun to share it with you. My father had a summer crew made up of usually teachers and high school students, where we would work on farm buildings. And Phil, his job that day was shingling a barn. And towards the last part of the day, it was a hot August day, close to the 10th hour. In those days, we did 60-hour weeks. And he looked back at his row of shingles and realized that he had allowed the shingles to droop down a little bit. And he thought, well, it's a barn. It's still going to keep out the water. I'm hot and I'm tired. Good enough. And so he got down from the roof, and he saw my father just standing there looking up the barn. And all he said was, "Phil, are you satisfied with that?" And Phil looked up, decided he wasn't, and he went back up the ladder and repaired the work. And he tells the youth of his church from that what he learned from that was that it's not about the nature of the work, it's not about whether it's adequate, and it's not even about what your boss feels about it. So what it's about is, what are your standards? Are they high enough? And are you living up to them? So, with that, will you now join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and the four-way test? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
How are you? Doing well. Good to see you. Jackie, good to see you. Good to see you too. How are you doing? Yeah, right. Hey, Ron.
Yes, sir.
All right, we do have a few guests with us today, so guests, if you would, please stand as I call your name. We'll welcome you as a group at the end. First guest is Michael Nobles from Commerce Bank, guest of Christy Edwards, and I believe she's here from Kansas City. Thanks for joining us. Andy Fish with Culture All, and also Jack Chimbetete with Culture All. Thank you all for joining us. And we'll next have a quick announcement from Randy Worth about our Wheels Fellowship tomorrow. Randy?
I don't know what makes them think that it's quick.
I was being optimistic.
Optimistic. You can be glad you're here because across the street is a police conference. So severe that there's a patrol boat from Hawaii on a trailer out on Grand. So when you leave here, you might want to go some other way in. I hope you can come to the Wheels event tomorrow at the Allbach Collection from 2 to 4. We've mentioned before a vehicle there that's called the Little, that there was only 3 made and only 2 known to exist, and one of them is in the collection. Meade mentioned that there's one of every color of a '56 Chevy that was made in the collection. It also is one of 12, only 9 left that exist of the Future Liner, which was a big heavy display bus that was built in the 1940s to show what the future might be in transportation and a variety of topics. And the collection has bus number 3, so you will see it. The address, as you know, is 1505 Northeast 36th in Ankeny, but the collection is on Northeast Otterview. When you get to that, turn south, regardless of which way you come, be the second building, and you can't miss it because it has a big Chevrolet service sign hanging on the north end. The building is secure, so if we can meet, there's a pergola thing there. We can meet under it if it's drizzly rainy, and that's still just park along the drive, stay in your car. I have been asked to go to the office to get our host, and she will come down, let us in, make a brief introduction, and we'll be on our way. If you can't come till 2:30, 3 o'clock, I will hang a note on the walk-in door with my phone number. You can call me and I'll come let you in, hopefully. So, hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Appreciate it. Hope we have a good turnout tomorrow. And now we have a few slides for Where in the World is Club 27. For our guests in attendance, the Rotary Club of Des Moines is the 27th club of over 36,000 Rotary clubs worldwide. So first we have Tej Dewan, who was, looks like in several of these pictures, enjoying the sights and sounds and scotch, it looks like, of Scotland. So, and I think he also has a picture with him and his sister up there, yeah, on the bottom right. So Tej had a good time in Scotland. And then we also have another one from our own Bob Vettrell, who it appears caught a sign. Is that what you caught up there? He was at Big Johnson Lake in Minnesota. It doesn't look like you have a fish in your hand, Bob.
Well, I was, but somebody said she's an animal rights advocate. I think so, my 19 and a half inch smallmouth.
I gotcha. Well, hopefully you
Just
enjoyed
throw
yourself.
back.
Just a reminder, you can take us along with you with your travels. Just send Kitty a picture of your local or abroad travels, and we'll have some fun with it. And now, again, everyone's favorite segment that you're getting used to, Rotary Law and Disorder. So, we had a little laugh as a board this week because Kitty got a letter recently from a person who is incarcerated in Minnesota asking to join our club. And she said that was a first. And I thought to myself, yeah, it'd be a little difficult to attend meetings if you're incarcerated in Minnesota. And over my years as a litigation attorney, I actually have dealt with several lawsuits that are filed from prison. Apparently people in prison have enough time to file lawsuits. And in one I remember I actually represented, I think it was Jasper County, where the individual sued the city, the county. I think he even sued the judge who was presiding over the case. He threatened to sue me before the case was dismissed, so I appreciated getting done in time. But in keeping with that theme, I looked, and of course the internet never disappoints. So in 1995, Robert Lee Brock, a Virginia prison inmate, sued himself. He sued himself for, quote, violating my religious beliefs, and I want to pay myself $5 million, but I will ask the state to pay it since I can't work. That's a quote from his petition. He then, before the judge, argued that when he got drunk in 1993 and committed his crimes, he breached his own religious and civil rights, but then promised, quote, when I get out, I'd pay it back. Judge Rebecca Smith in Virginia praised Mr. Brock's innovative approach to civil rights litigation before she dismissed the case. That's your Rotary Law and Disorder for this week. Now our own Ganesh Kampat from our board and our Sergeant at Arms will introduce our speaker. Ganesh.
I'm surprised that nobody asked who that incarcerated individual was. No, it's not Skeet.
I'm on parole.
Thank you, Tim. President Tim. All right, Sherry Gupta, founder of Cultural. Her work spans over 3 decades. I know Sherry personally, but I want to read a little bit about her intro so you can better understand the work that she does. She has a great passion for the work, and it stretches more than just diversity. This organization really brings people together. So Cultural clients include corporations, K-12 schools, colleges, professional associations, social agencies. Sherry's a graduate of Grinnell College, studied anthropology. Part of her studies included time overseas in England and Wales. But she has this unique thing that was a 6-year process from a highly acclaimed Intercultural Communication Institute in Portland, Oregon, where she received a very significant certificate. I would probably call it like a PhD in this particular discipline. So throughout the 90s, Sherry worked for Principal International. She later became Principal Financial Group, leading consultant for cross-cultural business communication as a human development consultant. She also was recognized as a facilitator at Principal of the Global Awareness Program. So since 2000, Sherry and her team have done work in research, design, testing, and practicing strategies that go well beyond diversity training. So for 20 years, and that's significant. You all have seen these table flyers recently. We have some that we'll hand out too. They're celebrating a very significant event this weekend, a ball. She might talk a little bit about that. The organization believes that when we learn about each other's culture, it elevates the community, which adds meaning and strengthens the quality of life. Atul is her husband of 38 years. She's a mother of 3, raising biracial, bicultural students. And recently she had to care for this elderly father-in-law who's a retired officer in the Indian Army. You could probably ask her about that after the meeting. I'm sure she'll share with you some insight. Many of you recognize her. She's a former club member. We hope to have Cultural involved in our club again. I think you'll enjoy her presentation today. Ladies and gentlemen, Sherry Gupta.
It's good to see so many of you again, and thank you for having us come back. How to summarize what Cultural does? I'm not going to attempt. I told John Schmidt it was his job, and he said he would need a full hour. Appreciate that. And as I look at this first slide that says that Cultural is cultivating collaborative communities, we like alliteration, I decided I'm going to turn it over to all of you. We have a lot of really smart people in the room, so when I finish with this, we're going to ask you, how do you summarize what Cultural is about? And Andy's got $20 for you.
I do now.
Andy's been working with us now for 3 weeks, and Jack is almost up on his 2nd anniversary. Yeah. A very quick origin story. Basically, I had worked at Principal. We did a global awareness program. It started out as a 6-week program, and then it got cut back to a 5-week program, and then it was a 6-day program, 5-day program, and eventually you can see where this goes down to basically a lunch and learn. And as I started doing my own cross-cultural development by having children, my neighbor asked if I would be her co-chair of the PTO Fine Arts Committee at the elementary school, and I said, I don't know anything about fine arts. And she said, oh, but we do this multicultural day. And I thought, oh my gosh, to do what I did with the people at Principal, helping them learn how to live and work more effectively with people from around the world, but to start at such a young age so that they grow up with the skill and grace to be able to interact with anyone around the world, that's cool. So we started it, and after that first multicultural day, watching all of those kids passing through the hallway from one workshop to another, so excited about what they had just learned, but even more so, the teachers in tow right beside them, equally excited about what they were discovering. That was something that we needed to redo. So we built the model. We started expanding, and here we are 20 years later. The marquee part of our program are cultural ambassadors, and these are people who are born in other countries, most of them. Some of them are born here. People who have different life experiences than our own, and they create these interactive, hands-on experiences, really designed to spark a curiosity so people want to know more about their neighbors, about their colleagues, and sometimes even about themselves. We've built the program from there, and ta-da! In sum, what I would say Cultural is about is achieving this, that great things happen when people who work together value the qualities that set them apart. So, as we said, we've been doing this for 20 years. These are some quick pictures. I'm going to get into more detail a little bit later about specific programs and what it looks like with the ambassadors. We have Jack, who's going to do a little demonstration. And but for the moment, we're really going to focus on the growth and the expansion that we've done and that we're intending to do in the future. So this is a slide. Sorry, you can't see it, Tim. It shows the growth. So 2019 was the peak previously, and we decided it was time to really start to grow. Ganesh helped us put together a capital campaign. It was a successful campaign. In 2021, we completed $1 million. And of course, good building year. Yep. But you can see it's successful. It allowed us to hire more people, to train more ambassadors, to really build up the program. And we pre-COVID, we maxed out pretty much in 15 communities, very much focused in central Iowa, and more recently, more than doubled it. Somebody else can do the math for me. And that's what it looks like. We are all across the state of Iowa. In many of these counties, again, 44 communities, but in many of these counties, it's at the library, it's at a school, it might be at a corporation. There's a lot more, what do you call it, building within those communities that we could be doing. And so we've been working on that. We've had a group of advisors. I could name names, Chuck Offenberger, Bob Riley, and Bruce Newsom, a few others who are very involved in rural expansion, rural development, have helped guide us on how do we work in the rural communities. And what I want to say is that the model that we use here in central Iowa tends to be very transaction-based, which is somebody hears about Cultural, they want a program, they contact us, we tell them what their options are, we schedule it, they give us some money, the cultural ambassador goes in, and we make sure everybody's good and happy. You go into a rural space, and it's a little bit different, because the community needs to buy in to the concept. The community needs to buy in to what's being taught, or what's being shared, and what their children are experiencing in the schools, or what the corporations are providing. So, we've been working with some of the area economic development groups, and provided an example of what does Cultural do, and we put all of these in around the $5,000 range to give them an idea of what their investment might be like. So the first example here is, of course, connecting with neighbors in rural Iowa through shared experiences with ambassadors in the schools. And the $5,000 would give you 6 ambassadors. The picture here is taken from Spencer in northwest Iowa, and one elementary school. Every student participated in 2 workshops. Every ambassador presented 8 sessions. Every teacher received professional development, and the families heard about the days. And so some of the comments were, my daughter loved this event. Something posted on Facebook or LinkedIn that we happened to see. This was a couple of the ambassadors who traveled in a van together up to Spencer. There's Jack and me in the front seat. And this was a brand new ambassador. He is at Mainframe Studios, Cesar Martinez. And his very first workshop, and an opportunity to interact with 6 other cultural ambassadors who represent Latin American heritage. Here they are having lunch in the lunchroom with the teachers. And here's another program that we have, which is the Open Book program. How many people have heard about Open Book? Love it, just a few. So this is an interactive story sharing experience. We went to Lake City, Iowa. I won't go through the details, but one of the participants said, Darcy, we've known you for years, but never knew your story. I can't believe what you were able to accomplish in 1 hour in terms of the sharing of the information. So a couple of examples of books are J.J. Kapoor and Zach Meacham. They partnered on a specific open book experience, and the theme was not focused on who they are and why they're different. It was not focused on their culture or their disabilities and that sort. Instead, it was focused on, we aren't superheroes. How can we show up for ourselves and each other in a spirit of gentleness and grace? When you are different, you stand out. And if you are different, you have to work harder to prove yourself. And that's what their story was about. Another example, we've worked with Delta Dental, and that was more of a corporate programming, but what they've said is these events are a great way to build camaraderie and fellowship among our employees. We could put on a video or send out an article, but that's not going to bring people together to create those connections. That's why the cultural ambassadors and open book storytellers are important. Last one I'm going to show you here is we went up to Sioux City, and at Western Iowa Tech Community College put on a professional development program, a program specifically called Beyond Iowa Nice. And again, it was a 3-hour session, 3 ambassadors presenting. Before that, we went in and interviewed employees and made sure that we were meeting their needs, we were understanding where they are in their cultural journeys so that we can speak to them. And the results, of course, always some mix. This is, of course, one of the best quotes, which is, "This was awesome. Very engaging, talented, humorous, and friendly speakers. I was honored to sit in on this presentation." So, I'm going to pass it over to my friend Jack Giudatete, and he's going to give you a sense of what it's like to experience a cultural ambassador presentation.
Thank you, Sherry. How's everybody doing this afternoon?
Great.
I was telling people at my table that the food is so good it makes you want to join the group. So I kept asking Ganache, what does it take? And he says, you contribute something. I was like, what does it take? So if anybody is willing to tell me what it takes, I might consider joining. For now, I'll do this little demonstration. We'll talk about the Rotary later. I'm from Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe is in the southern part of Africa. That's where I grew up. And yeah, it's one of the most beautiful countries in Africa. You know, whenever you have a chance, you should visit. The weather is always great, I have to say that. When I moved to Des Moines, I did consider my choices. So today I'm going to talk about a dance called Nemamsasa. It's a song that was really done when people were thinking about metaphorically planning for the future. So Musasa is a tree, and when they said Nemamsasa, it was taking the branches of the tree and putting together a temporary shelter. So I'm going to just kind of do a little bit of song and a little bit of dance demonstration. And if people have really settled in their stomach, maybe you could also join me for 30 seconds. How is that for a plan? Okay, great. So the song is Nemamsasa, and you keep saying the words over and over again. And the other words, I will kind of go in there and do a little bit of variations, but I'll give you like the overview. So it's Nemamsasa, 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 Nemamsasa. So those courageous enough can go with me. Let's try this. Nemamsasa, 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 Nemamsasa. So you keep saying Nemamsasa and I'll do the variations. Let's try this one. Nemamsasa, 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 Nemamsasa. You guys are doing great. Are you sure you haven't been African? Okay. So now I'm going to incorporate the drum, all right? So everybody's going Nemamsasa, Nemamsasa. At some point I'm going to be doing variation and I'm going to be playing the drum. Okay, are we together? Yeah. Nemamsasa, Nemamsasa, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, Shoinuk, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, Shoinuk, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa. Wonderful, you make it so easy. Could we have volunteers standing up, please? That means everybody, for a few minutes. So the dance is very simple. And I promise, we're not going to go into the very complicated ones. Those who haven't purchased their tickets, we're going to actually have a full workshop on Saturday at the Bowl. You have an option to purchase the tickets and be part of the whole experience. This is just a 3-minute demo, okay? So here's how it goes. Step up, step up, step up, step up. That's it. Okay, I'm gonna show everybody. Here we go. Step up, step up, step up, step. So that's it. Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, just a little faster. Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa, Nemam Sasa. All right, I won't touch you anymore. Thank you very much. Like I said, this is a demo. You can have the full experience on Saturday, or you can hear from those who had a great time. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jack. All right. So the essence of what we do is participate, appreciate, elevate. That's our theory of change. That's what makes cultural programs work. So many times when people come and do a presentation about culture, it's just that, it's a presentation. And what we want to be able to do is say, it's okay to touch the artifact. It's okay to make mistakes in saying the language or singing the wrong note. It's okay, because I want you to get to know me, and I want to get to know you as well. Cultural programs are about neighbor learning from neighbor, which is why we're recruiting cultural ambassadors not only here in the greater Des Moines area, but all across the state. It's about engagement. And when we go in and do programs, we're really wanting to be able to not just be in and out, once and done. I was talking about that transaction. Instead, we know this is a journey. You don't go to the gym just once and suddenly you're fit. You don't have one experience with Jack teaching you African dance and suddenly you know everything about Africa. So we recommend, you can see that arrow up there. What that represents is a sample cadence of events that we go through that are different levels of comfort. How comfortable were you all doing this with Jack today?
Not at all.
And that's the idea. We want to meet people at a level where they feel comfortable. We're not trying to push anybody over the edge. We don't want to make people feel inadequate in any kind of way, because we learn when we're having fun. We learn best when we're having fun. Here's a quote I'll just share quickly. This was Josie Shah, who went into Bankers Trust to do basically a lunch and learn session, specifically about Kenya. And it was part of a larger program with that cadence that I was talking about. And Amanda Young, who was in charge of HR at that time, said, embark on a journey like this. You'll be changed after it, and in really good ways. So I mentioned we've been going around to rural Iowa. We've been doing what we call a discovery tour. This is a picture from a conversation with economic development folks, the mayor, business leaders, hospital administration at Denison, Iowa. No, sorry, this was Lake City. But And all we wanted to do was understand what's happening in their community. What are their pressure points? What are they trying to accomplish? And we know all across Iowa, population decline is impacting everything. You don't have groceries in your community if you don't have people to buy them, and it becomes a cycle that goes on and on. So they were very interested in talking with us about what are the possibilities. If we are going to grow as a community, we have to bring in people who are not from this community. And that doesn't matter whether you're from Chicago or from the big city of Des Moines or from another country. Outsiders coming in is hard. And cultural programs is one way to get people to open up, to explore, to get curious. This is a conversation that Jack and JJ Kapoor and another colleague went to Carol. And at first, everybody was really excited. The conversations that they had in the room were fantastic. And then the newspaper article came out, and a man with a turban was on the front cover. And guess what happened next? Yeah. The conversation shut down. People opposed it. Which is why we're trying to build this ecosystem. Not a transaction, it's a community. If we're going to rally around that central concept that people go where they're invited and stay where they feel welcome, we have to bring people in. So who's going to buy into this concept? You've got the employers, they're looking for employees. You've got the economic development folks, they are charged with creating a vibrant community. Businesses, they need people to buy their stuff. And the community builders, they want cohesion. They want a happy place where people can thrive and flourish. So, you're all familiar with the Capital Crossroads. 7 capitals, 9 capitals, however many capitals you want to count. But that's the approach we're taking. So when we go in, that's why we're talking with the hospital administrator. We're talking with the bankers, talking with each of the capitals, and understanding, this is what I got from Bob Riley, the beautiful model with DVFR. What that represents is you've got to understand what's the resistance. And it might be fear of the unknown. It might be that it's just too hard to change. I'm afraid to change. So if you start on the other end of, okay, what's the dissatisfaction? Well, we are behind the competition. There are regulatory changes, the decline in profitability, whatever it might be. And then you add that with the vision, such as, what's inspirational about the future? How can we make our lives better? Give them that vision so that they have something they want to work toward. And then F, it stands for the first step. What are those action steps that we can take? And if you put all 3 of those into the conversation and everybody's buying into it, we make change. So, 20 years of Cultural. We are celebrating some of the change that has happened here, and we invite you to join us for the ball. 20 cultures represented, 15 artists from around the world. We have the Global Bazaar with pop-up street performances. There are real-time dance lessons with Jack, and there is Irish dance, bachata, and Bollywood. So a lot of fun. Of course, there are the meal is curated by local chefs, and we'd love to have you there. So people always ask us how do we support our programming? Of course, we have organizations that believe in what it is that we do. They step forward. They help us out, and that's it. So questions.
Sherry, in this present environment of the pushback against diversity and inclusion, I had the impression with that pushback from your newspaper, are you getting that from this environment?
That's one of the reasons we did the discovery tour. We were pleasantly surprised that people like people. And I think, yes, there are messages that are out there that are that people are echoing, but all of the people we connected with, especially those who are economically developmentally minded, are absolutely in favor. And we've heard, for example, people at a manufacturing plant telling their economic folks, if ICE shows up at my door, they're not getting in. They're pretty passionate. David.
First of all, great to see you again.
Good to see you.
Thank you for coming. Your next to last slide may have answered part of my question, but I'm gonna ask you. Thank you.
That one or the next one?
That one, you have a gem, you know that. And we're glad you're here, in fact, talking to us today. It seems to me that you could double, treble, quadruple, if you got in front of some key state organizations. I think Debbie Durham's group may be up there, IEPA, IDEA, Iowa Business Council, ABI, Young Professionals, Leadership Iowa. If maybe you're doing all this, so maybe it's superfluous, but if you get on the agenda for their annual meetings, quarterly meetings, the ripple effect. This is still a small word-of-mouth state, you know that. You're the answer to a lot of these little town questions, but you can't get to every place. They don't know many of them yet about you. You're a well-kept secret. I'd have a comm strategy that really gets this version of today in front of all these groups in 10 more languages. You'd have a multiple effect that you would the state would benefit.
We'll be talking.
That's why I get in trouble doing all this.
I've been looking for you for 20 years.
Sherry, how do you harness the amazing cultural diversity in our youth, which we see in all the schools all across the state? How are you trying to encourage young people to celebrate and share their culture as a tool for learning?
First of all, thank you for writing all of the checks. And I'll invite Jack and Andy to respond to this as well. I'll give you a quick little anecdote. Some of our our happiest clients are the ELL teachers. They love when the cultural ambassadors come in and represent the cultures of the students who are in the room. And it opens up all kinds of possibilities. You can imagine, 90% of Iowa teachers, if not greater, are from Iowa, and most of them look like me. And so, if you're a student, what does that tell you? The smart people in the room are all white people. But when you have the cultural ambassadors take the microphone or stand at the front of the classroom, and they have the same language, the same customs, the same accents as the students, that's pretty powerful. Any additional thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would just quickly share, I love that you brought that up. My wife is a English as a second language teacher in Ankeny, and she and I were looking at data, because we're education data nerds, from Ankeny community schools. And in the last, I think it was 10 years, and I grew up in Ankeny too, just for a note, the total student population of Ankeny Public Schools has grown by 20%. It's impressive growth. The English as a second language student population in Ankeny in the last 10 years has grown by 430%. And you think about this in our metro area, and you think about this across our state. And if anyone had I had the pleasure of going to the Greater Des Moines Regional Partnership meeting yesterday, and see a speaker in the shifting demographics of our state. So the need for exactly what Sherry is talking about students to see themselves at the front of the classroom, is in the last 10 years in one community in our city, in our state, has grown by 430%. And those projections are, that's the direction we're heading. So the need for this is growing at a great rate all around the state.
Thank you. One other statistic, Cultural, in the 20 years, we have served 500,000 people, 25 students at a time.
Dave's got one.
Yes.
Well, how would you describe corporate culture? You've got a lot of corporate sponsors there. This is a time when DEI, it seems like educational institutions and companies are running from DEI, scrubbing it from their public-facing websites and documents, that kind of thing. Are you seeing that they're running from it behind the scenes as well, or they're just kind of erasing the public image of it? I mean, all of these companies need to recruit people to come here, yet I don't see them up at the legislature fighting stuff that makes it tougher to recruit diverse workers to come apply.
Yeah.
I know that's a loaded question, so.
Well, and I only have superficial answers for you, so let me try. The first is, the reason that the corporations are not going up to the legislature is because they also have their restrictions and the things. Even if there are a lot of people in the boardroom who support what is known as DEI, they don't feel like they've got the. I guess I can't answer that. I'm trying to share what I've heard some of my board members say from their corporations. But anyway, what we're hearing, what Jack is experiencing as he talks with the clients, they still want to move forward with it. Some of them are changing the name, some of them are leaning into DEI. I remind people, we were doing this before DEI was ever a phrase. And again, it goes back to people like people. And we want to work better together as teams, and we want high functioning teams. And none of that is going away. If you want to call it diversity, equity, inclusion, or you don't, it doesn't matter. It's still good work that needs to be done. So in terms of are they running away from it? I think people are just really cautious right now, not just because of DEI, but because there's so much happening. And we as individuals, as corporations, can only deal with so much at this time. And so our priority, one of the first things to get cut has always been the soft skills, and that's where we are right now. People are just trying to hunker down, get the job done, and see how we can get to the next day.
Thank you, Sherry. Appreciate it.
And here's the $20 for the next person.
Oh. Backing it up, I like that, Sherry. Thank you, Sherry and Jack, for your presentation, and we sincerely appreciate you sharing your time with us and your passion. And thank you for making our community and the state, as you suggested, all around the state, a better place because of your work at Cultural. And Jack, this is videotaped, so even though my children say I have no rhythm and can't dance, I'm gonna show them this. Say I was hanging out with Jack today. Appreciate it. All right, upcoming meetings. Reminder, we will not have a lunch meeting next week, so do not come to the Embassy Club. We will not be here. We have our third annual Thank Fall event at Jester Park Nature Center in Granger from 5 to 7. Dinner will be served from about 5:30 to 6:30 or so. Special thanks to Rich Leopold for allowing us to be at that beautiful venue again this fall, and thanks to our generous anonymous sponsor who's helping us put this on. We did have an RSVP deadline of last week. but if your schedule has changed for the 25th, please reach out to Kitty. We can make room for you. And like I said, I think it'll be a great event for some great fellowship in an unbelievable setting. October 2nd, former member Brian Mulcahy will be here to talk about the Des Moines International Airport. And on October 9th, Dan Wood, the current State Fire Marshal of Iowa, will be here to present to us. A few more upcoming events that Randy already mentioned, the Wheels Fellowship. So if you need to see Randy after the meeting, please catch up with him with any questions. Thank Fall I mentioned, and then Morning Fuel on September 30th. Our very own Ann Shmurdla from Bike Park Zoo, the CEO, she will be presenting and provide us her story. The fellowship is free and the coffee is on you, so please join us at that event. Thank you all for being with us today. Thank you again, Sherry, for returning. We would welcome you or Jack to apply for membership. We appreciate that. And thanks to all of you for being here and being a vital part of our club. Thank you to our guests, and as I say every week, stay tuned to the good. We are adjourned.